Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We are at the end of Fellowship 3. We're just hanging out this morning. It's been quite a while since we've been able to get together, and it worked out that our regular time slot worked for everybody this week. So I figured, why not? Let's go live. I don't know if the boys actually realized this until I just said it, because we're all a little bit tired, haggard, under the weather, overworked, underpaid, and one of us might be hungover. Yeah,
I'm slightly
how you
hungover.
feeling, Seb?
I
How's
actually
it
feel
going?
a lot better than I thought I was going to coming into today. So we're super positive about today. I actually feel good. So
There you go.
my hangover is slight and not
It's
as
the
bad as I thought
excitement.
it was.
The excitement of talking to us. That's what makes you feel alive.
100%.
100%.
100%.
You have a bucket next to you though, just in case, right?
And I think you might be sitting on one too, just in case the other end starts going too.
No.
So.
You know what? I think that's probably a wise idea. Some days I know I have digestional issues. So I think at our age we should just all have one nearby.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
you're preaching
just,
to the choir, buddy. Absolutely.
in
Yeah,
gaming
I mean,
terms. In gaming terms, it's called a raid bucket.
Gross.
So it's a multi-purpose bucket because you can't leave your computer in the middle of a raid. So if you need to pee or whatever, there's a bucket beside you.
Sweet.
It's,
Okay, hold on. Time
Did
out.
you ever do that, Seb, back in
No,
your hardcore days?
No, I was pretty no, because I mean, between wipes on bosses, you just run to the washroom or run back.
Yeah.
And then most people call you out for not washing your hands, and you're like, "Fuck off, we're raiding."
You're not touching my keyboard, so fuck off.
You're not touching my keyboard yet.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered this many times.
Yeah.
As big as a gamer as I have been, and as much as I enjoy them, I don't plug in online to do the gaming because I will go down that particular path. So I need to be very clear about this. That's a fucking thing.
A raid bucket?
Yeah.
It's more of it is, but it's more of a joke than a thing. Most people don't actually have a raid bucket, but sometimes people have had a bucket that they just peed in because they couldn't go to
You're in a raid for 10 hours or whatever you're doing. It's just like, holy shit.
I mean, you're not always playing the entire time. Like between wipes, you just run to the bathroom and go, okay, peeing and then coming back, right? So
Eating's a different story because you just don't, because you can't.
if you ever watch like a hardcore WoW raider like stream on Twitch, if you could ever get them to show what their desk looks like, there's like fucking pop cans everywhere. It's like littered with like 50 pop cans around their desk.
God.
Yeah. But anyways,
For those of you that are just listening, check out the video feed of this one because I am fucking flabbergasted that this is a thing. That
a raid bucket.
wow.
Raid bucket. Yep.
Wow, there's some priorities in life, folks. Let's not.
Some people play games 24 hours a day. They just don't sleep, or if they do, they sleep at their desk, and it's just whatever, right? Like the hardcore Diablo 4 players, they just go and go and go and go like for fucking 24 hours. Just stupid.
It's also called a gaming bucket if you go to Urban Dictionary. It's a gaming bucket is some sort of medium-sized container jokingly said to be used during long gaming sessions of 4+ hours in place of restroom breaks. The phrase was semi-popular among MMO gamers at one time.
But I'm not sure. Like, I think if you poll like regular gamers now, they don't, if they're playing that game and they're not raiding for 8-10 hours. It's 2-3 hours and then they're done. Maybe, I don't know.
The race to world first is like 12 hours a day.
Okay.
For the first 2 weeks of the raid, but that's
that's the 1% of the 1%, right? Yeah. But I think if you're just a regular
you're raiding
schmo,
3 hours a night, basically.
right? A couple days a week, and then that's it. And then you don't log in after that. You just limit your time because that game will eat your soul.
It will.
It will.
Anyways.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm learning things that I can't unlearn now.
Well,
I mean,
there's a lot. There's an entire Urban Dictionary rabbit hole that you can go down. People want to go down it, but we're not going to say it on this live podcast.
You know what? Maybe we'll save that for another time because there's some.
There you go.
Urban Dictionary is an interesting place to surf through. Mike, what's been going on with you, buddy?
A lot, just working lots, being a chauffeur for my children, and I don't have a lot of time for much of anything else. Running is not really working right now. I don't know whatever. I don't know what's going on with me, but yeah, I don't know. Just running sucks. Well, it doesn't suck. My body does. And I don't know.
Have you tried cycling? Have you ever had an interest in trying cycling?
I have bikes. I just
You
don't like
prefer
riding on
running?
the highway. Highways are scary.
Yeah.
I do sometimes ride on the highway, but again, it's a frightening prospect. And riding on trails, I get myself into trouble, and I tend to do Supermans into trees and shit. I'm kind of I'm my own worst enemy. If I could find a nice gravel road that's got some, elevation to it, hook me up. But man, once it comes to downhill stuff, I'm not good and I'm scared. And it's like anything. You're not comfortable.
There's a lot of mountain bike trails in your areas.
Tons. I usually run them, but I might go for.
You're one of those guys where all the mountain bike riders are annoyed with because you're on their trails.
Yeah, and then, but it's also a flip side of the coin. There's one set of trails. It's specifically it's an unwritten rule. It's mountain bikers. It's where you bike, blah, blah. I run there sometimes. People hike in there too. And it is annoying when you have a runner or a hiker with their dog and you're flying down a trail and the fucking dog jumps out in the middle. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
Come on. But there's another set of trails where it's primarily, in my opinion, it's hiking, walking, running. That's what they're meant for. And then you get these people on their bikes, e-bikes too. The e-bikers are the worst because they're flying up hills that you're coming down and they don't move. They don't give a shit who's in the way. If it's 75-year-old Betty walking her dog, fucking there ain't no stopping him, man. He's just
okay. Let's land on this for a second here.
Sure.
I feel like cyclists, not even mountain bike cyclists, but just cyclists, are so pretentious with their I come first, the rules are for me, but yet they'll be the first person to bend the rules. Like, how many times have you seen a cyclist in downtown Vancouver? Well, I guess you're not in downtown Vancouver anymore, but they'll just run a red light. I'm like, well, if your bike is on 100%. The road, you have to adhere by the road rules. But like, what gives you the ability to just run a red light? Like,
because if
they're in a hurry,
Buddy's running the light and then the other guy's got a quick foot, hitting the green, right?
Yeah,
it's not going to work out well for Mr. Cyclist.
No.
The car's going to be fine, and Mr. Cyclist will have some legs going opposite directions, and
it bugs ridiculous. Me, man. Cyclists bug me.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever almost hit one, Zeb?
All the time.
Yeah, they
love. Although no,
actually,
actually I haven't, because they don't even use the fucking cyclist lanes in downtown Vancouver. So
no, I have. In my previous occupation, I would be downtown Vancouver, and I could be anywhere down there, and it's always the same fucking thing. I'm going to take my right turn, and this dumb shit comes flying up and cuts me off.
Not a care in the world, right? Just
not a care in the world. They're just, especially in some of the areas where it is downhill, and I'm like. And I stop, and then all my tools and equipment and gear is now in my front seat.
Yep.
And I'm yelling out the window. I've been tempted to maybe catch up, and
that's not worth it.
It's just for me, it's the pretentiousness of them feeling that regardless of what the rule structure is, they're always the first priority.
And they've probably got headphones in too, which is even dumber.
100%.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it's great to ride to tunes or even running with tunes, and I don't really run with tunes in anymore, just because I want to know, especially if I'm out in the bush, like if Winnie the Pooh is chasing me, I kind of want to hear it coming, or if it's something off in my peripheral and I hear crunching of branches or whatever, I want to have that wherewithal to go, oh fuck, I think it's over now, and then that's that.
You are right. Down is way more effective than middle finger or yelling.
Yeah, absolutely. Shame them.
You are right though, Mike. Like when I go running around my place, which is largely in an urban city landscape, there's no real threat of wildlife, but there's passages of going into like a forest side trail, and I'm always wondering something might jump out at me.
Well, there's stuff in
Cougar
there.
or a bear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
those
know
are
there's
those
stuff
are
in there,
mostly
especially
the two-legged cougars, though, for you, Seb.
What was Theo Vaughn's joke? Because like, yeah, my buddy got bit by a black widow at a bus stop, and she's like 47.
Oh God.
Ah, Theo Vaughn, he's
You know,
great.
it's funny you mentioned comedy because that's one of the things I did get up to last weekend. Went and saw Brad Williams and had a
Okay.
buddy of his JB Ball opening. I love Brad. We got really excited. We've seen Brad. He's a regular on our cruises. He's only missed one because he had to jump out of the lineup on that one because his wife was due to have their baby that same week. So
That's
Priorities.
important to be
probably
there
made
for
a
that.
wise decision.
Yeah.
I don't remember how it turned out as to if he could have made it or not, the way it all worked out. I just know that was the reason he jumped off, and the replacement was Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias that year. So that really worked out well
Nice.
for us. But Brad is absolutely hysterical. We had a great time. We found out he was coming. I immediately bought tickets. We were out having wings, and there's a group of us that go on a regular basis to the pub on wing night where
the
my
regular.
daughter works too, so she gets to cook us dinner, which she loves.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and yeah, we just my one buddy Greg pointed out that Brad was coming to town, and Sarah had gotten up and walked off to the washroom, and by the time she had come back, I had 5 tickets.
Nice.
Like, we're going to this.
Yeah.
We're doing this, and that was
Where was he performing?
the Rio Theater. I'd never been there before.
Nice.
It's a decent little venue. It's an old single
That's in,
theater
like,
movie theater.
East Van, right?
Yeah, it's on
Burnaby, East
Broadway and Commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen one thing at the Rio, and it was amazing. It
What'd you
was a theater show about Dungeons and Dragons,
Ooh, that'd be fun.
and they play the characters on stage, and they go through like a scenario on stage where they like act out the scenario. And it's hilariously
amazing.
funny,
That'd be-
man. Yeah. So it's oh.
Uh-oh.
So I'm just gonna
Oh, there
play
we
this
go.
for
Okay,
you
yeah.
real quick. I didn't mean to cut you off there. That was
No.
that
You're
was
good.
an unfortunate.
I thought we were having technical difficulties.
I
Yeah,
saw the little
an
swirly
unfortunate
flag.
technical difficulty. I didn't intend to add this to the stream right away, but I did. So if you don't know Brad Williams, I'm going to play a 30-second TikTok here, and yeah. Apparently, I
can't hear
not because
Apparently you
I
need to
have it
unmute it.
muted
It's
over.
on the bottom. There you
There
go.
you go. There you go.
Okay? One fucking day, okay? And I'm on stage talking about it like there's a foot and a half of snow outside. The audience is like, hey, no big deal. It's like a foot and a half of snow. Like, no, it's a big deal. Just a foot and a half of snow. It's a foot and a half of, it's just a foot and a half of snow. And I am 4 feet fucking tall, all right? That's a big deal for me. Maybe not for you guys. Maybe you guys walk around a foot and a half of snow, you trip, you fall, your knee gets wet, you're like, oh God, it's winter
He's
time.
shorter than 4 feet.
If I trip and fall in a foot and a half of snow, I die. You understand how that works? In a foot and a half of
Yeah,
snow.
he's funny. I like that.
Yeah, and he is a genuinely good dude too. I took one of my souvenirs. We got a souvenir flag from the last Jericho cruise. We got there early. We ran into some old friends of mine. We actually had some friends further in the back as well that we didn't know were there. So I took the flag with us. Brad came out. So his opening act, JB Ball, very funny. We watched his YouTube comedy special last night. Very funny dude. And Brad came out to Chris Jericho's theme song of Judas.
Nice.
And as
Nice.
Brad came out, I got my flag held up, and we're about 4 rows back and dead center. Brad called that right out. You know, I'm getting told by, my friends and wife, is like, oh, you want to point you out? Cool. And he's like, oh, we even got somebody from the Jericho cruise here. That's a blast. And I stood back up, showed the flag,
Nice.
sat
Well,
back
Brad
down,
Williams was
minded
on
my
the
own
Jericho
business.
cruise, wasn't he?
What's that?
Brad Williams was on the Jericho
Yeah,
cruise, right?
he's been on. He's now the night before, the day before the show, he was announced. The lineup of the next Jericho cruise was announced, and Brad is coming again. He's been on 4 or
Nice.
5. He's actually the guy that books the comedians now.
Okay.
So that's
Awesome.
and he loves it. Like if you watch footage of the Jericho cruise, the matches, you can find Brad in the crowd somewhere every time. Like he's absolutely loves loves wrestling, loves being on the cruise. Really good dude. Signed my flag for me. But friends of ours in the back, as they see this happening, they're chuckling and laughing. It's like, that's something Matt would do. And then the next day is they see we posted about it. They're like, oh, we were there too. We were at the 7 o'clock show though. We were, and this is a conversation they're having with Sarah. And she's like, oh, we were at the 7 o'clock show. We were up front. That was Matt with the flag. And they're like, yep,
Nice.
we thought, that'd be something Matt would do. And that's the one. So
Have you guys heard of Matt Rife?
yes, he's blowing right up.
Yeah, I got tickets to see him in March in Vancouver because he's coming to Vancouver.
Nice.
If you haven't had a chance to watch his comedy, Mike, Matt Rife is the next great comedian.
Okay.
He's very good looking, very charming, young, and he is really good at crowd participation. So he
nice.
goes into the crowd and asks people questions. And the infamous one is when he catches a guy with his side chick at the show. It's like, is that your side chick? I'm like, oh, we're not gonna tell anyone. And he takes a picture of him. So it's good. That and the Wednesday Adam ones is really good because there's a really drunk girl that looks like Wednesday Adam that's hitting on him for the entire show.
Oh, nice.
And then 30 minutes later, she starts laughing. He's like, Wednesday, and she's like, you just got that now. Because she looks like Wednesday Addams. Yeah. Matt Rife is gonna be a star, man.
Yeah.
He's on the Dane Cook trajectory before Dane Cook got canceled, early on in his career, where he's the attractive comedian that everyone wants to see.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think he has a Netflix special coming out and
nice.
big tour next year. So
good for him. That's awesome.
Here's a question I was going to ask you guys that I just thought off the top of my head. Who is a comedian that in your eyes is just not funny and is completely overrated? I have one comedian. I just do not think he's funny. JB
Chris
Smooth.
Rock?
JB Smooth.
I've never heard much of JB's stuff, so I really
do not think he's funny at all. At all. He's just loud and I don't like him.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you have anyone, if you don't, it's fine.
We turned on because we're big fans of Bill Burr. Even my wife loves Bill Burr.
Yeah.
I just love his brand of humor because it's on the edge, but he pushes over the edge. But it seems to be it's okay he can do it because we all know he's kidding.
He definitely has a theme of tackling cancel culture topics, but
absolutely
actually making a logical sense of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which you're I get his side of it 100%.
Yeah. His last special he has one, I don't know how new it is, but it was him at Red Rocks and it was funny shit. But I was thinking in the same kind of vein, Jim Jeffries, I don't find him. We tried to watch one of his specials. I didn't find it funny. I just found him to be
he's the Australian guy.
Yeah, I found him just to be mean. It was just he's just running everybody down. I'm just okay, this isn't funny. I'm
I don't like comedians that do that when they run the audience down and treat them like they're stupid or inferior.
He was picking on Greta Thunberg, the teenager climate activist, and he was just being a dick. And I'm like, okay. You don't like her, so what? Yeah. But he's running down her disability and all this stuff. It's dude, come on, man. She's a fucking kid. But that's my pick for a dude that I don't find funny at all.
He does that game show called the 1% Club. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's in Australia. It's also in the UK. And they ask questions. So they have an audience of 100, for example, the contestants. Mm-hmm. And they'll ask a question. And they get progressively harder. So, first question will be 50% of the people we polled got this question right. And then 25% of the people we polled got this question right. And if you get it wrong, you get out. Okay. And then they go down to the 1% question. It was only 1 out of 100 people got this question right. Is it you? Matt Rife? Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Sarah's my date to the Matt Rife.
And as far as unfunny comedians, she hates Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Hates Kevin Hart.
Here's the thing.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but he's a little more hit and miss for me.
Here's the thing about Kevin Hart. He's not funny when he's doing a comedy show, but he's fucking hilarious in every other setting. Go watch him on Jimmy Fallon with Robert Irwin and all the animals. Kevin Hart is so funny being scared of all these animals. It's a 12-minute video. He's really good at being funny on the fly in the moment, but when it comes to like a comedy show, I don't find him that funny. Does that make sense?
He's better when he can play off of people.
Yeah, like his banter between him and The Rock, amazing.
Honestly, my favorite Kevin Hart banter. Do you remember his short scene in 40-Year-Old Virgin? He was the one that came into the record store or the Best Buy or whatever it was, and he was the one that he's like, "What you gonna do, Willis?" He's like, "Don't be a Negro, be my." I'm not gonna say that word.
Please don't.
I was like, ah.
Yeah.
He was also in Scary Movie 3, I think. Or Scary Movie 4.
So I'm just it took me a minute to find it. It's not the one I wanted, but the one I wanted, I will repost to the show and I'll send to Mike. This is going back to Matt Rife. It's the one where he gets cookies and a T-shirt from an audience member.
That's so good.
And it goes
hitting on the mom.
Yeah, it goes on a little too long. We won't spoil it for Mike.
Okay.
But here's a short TikTok of Matt Rife.
Is this your girlfriend? Coworker.
Coworker. Oh,
That's fucking inappropriate. You're his boss?
you're his boss.
Get that raise, dog. Bro, I bet
Hell
y'all's
yeah.
break room stinks, bro. Oh my god. Ugh. Where do you guys work?
Marketing agency.
Marketing agency? We should actually leave them alone. We could use their work.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, so a truck. That's a choice.
What do you do as the boss that he does not do?
Close deals.
Oh. He's working on it right now, though.
Let's go. Close that deal.
That's funny.
Yeah,
he's-
that's not the one I thought you were gonna show though. There's the one with the mom, and she's there with her. She's there with her like.
She's
two
there
or
with a
three
couple
daughters.
of daughters. You know
And
what?
then-
Let's not spoil this for Mike
Okay.
or anybody that hasn't seen it. Check our Facebook page. I'm gonna find that
Yeah.
right after we've wrapped this up here, and I'll post it because it was the first experience I'd had with Matt Rife. So that sounded weird, but that's what I do, and
He's
it
attractive, it's
just
fine.
stuck. It just absolutely hit. It was.
Did you close the deal?
Well, you're gonna have to watch and find out.
So yeah, he's really good at just vibing with the audience. And
Yeah,
just,
that's what it seems like.
connecting
He's
with the
quick and he can
That's
really
like-
pick up. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's very sharp as well. Okay, I want to play you guys a trailer.
Could I just interrupt before we do that?
Yes. Yeah.
I finally watched Dungeons and Dragons.
And
How did you like it?
I thought it could have been funnier because it was leaning in the
Okay.
beginning because it was leaning into the humor a lot, and then it kind of leaned
Yeah.
away from it. And I'm like, oh, you got it, because Chris Pine's funny because he's just got that sort of deadpan
Mm-hmm.
humor to him. Like have you seen it, Matt?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, so the part where he's trying to get let out of jail with
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Rodriguez and the bird guy and then the dragon. I just thought the subtle shit was really funny.
yeah,
But then they just sort of got away from it, and then it got serious. And I'm like, come on, this movie's
it
all
had
about.
moments in it though. Like
It did. It had some really funny moments. I
Like-
liked it. I liked it a lot. The world building was great, and I hope they make more.
when
Yeah,
Michelle
and they didn't-
Rodriguez went back to her village and
Yeah,
her
Bradley
ex,
Cooper
which is the
does.
freaking Hobbit.
Yeah. That was
so
Bradley
good.
Cooper, wasn't it? Was that Bradley
It
Cooper?
was.
I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, it was Bradley
Yeah, it
Cooper.
was
and I
Bradley
thought
Or
that was
the whole
freaking-
owl bear part where the owl
Yeah.
bear is just like slamming the red
Yeah.
priestess into everything. He's
Right.
like,
Oh, that shit was
Yeah,
funny.
they ripped that off from the first Avengers movie with the Hulk and Loki, but I was okay with that.
It's
I wasn't expecting much
The
out of
Avengers
Dungeons and
rip it
Dragons
off from
myself.
old Dungeons and Dragons lore.
yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that really leaned into it, or that they did good of not leaning into, was explaining the world. It's just like, yeah, this is just the way it is.
Yeah.
It just exists,
There's just a dude that is basically a talking owl with wings.
and that's fine. Like that's the world. I
and-
think what they've really done with D&D though is that because D&D itself it's serious. It's obviously a serious game, but people have fun with it, and people allow themselves to like really explore what is possible in the world of D&D, no matter how outrageous it may seem, because it's a game for people to grow as a group, right? So I think they emulated the outrageous awesomeness of
Yes.
what is just so over the top, but it
Yeah.
works in D&D in the
Yeah.
movie, right? So
Well, even just to have that dragon guy sitting at a desk with another guy, just like, come on, like it's
Yeah.
just totally random, and it
the
was I don't know.
Dragonborn just sitting there,
Yeah, just sitting there, just chilling. And then the bird that he was waiting for him to come in, and that I thought, and
they
the fact
escape and they're like,
Yeah.
why? Like you would have been free.
yeah, exactly. That was so great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought Hugh Grant did a really good job as well.
Yeah.
That was cool to see him in a less than romantic lead sort of way. It's so I mean
he was a bit of a
I had low
bitch.
expectations for this film. We can
Yeah.
go back a couple of months to our movie preview episode, and this one came up, and you guys were gung ho for it, and I was like,
Yeah, and I think you saw it in the theater. You saw it in the theater, right, Seb?
Yeah.
Did you go? Yeah.
I saw it with my D&D group.
Oh,
so being around like 6-7 other people that are like just loving it, it's infectious, that feeling, right? So
absolutely.
It's better in theater when you're with a group of people that all share in the same thing, with space, I guess.
sure.
So yeah, it was a good.
I watched it alone because the wife doesn't care, and
Yeah, that's fair.
I put it on with Junior, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "Okay, never mind."
Okay, so if your wife were to roll a D&D character, what would she be? I'll ask you the same question, Matt. If your wife were to roll or if you were to roll a D&D character, Matt, what would you be? You saw the movie. There's barbarians, wizards, rogues.
I don't know. I think the one time I played D&D, or the handful of times I was doing like a thief sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably stick with that, or I don't know, maybe I think it's called a paladin.
Mm-hmm.
Most
like that.
overpowered class in Dungeons and Dragons. Those things are ridiculous, man.
I like the warrior types, Michelle Rodriguez, just, beating them over the head, and big swords, stuff like that.
Dude, there's a cool barbarian build called like a wild magic barbarian.
Ooh.
And like you have like a wild magic table that you roll on, and it's like all this random chaos stuff can start happening. You can like turn invisible, or you can teleport. Like it's pretty chaotic. So
Did you ever watch the Critical Role cartoon? I can't remember what the hell it's called now.
Vox Machina?
Thank you.
No, because I'm still
You're still
watching season 1 of the actual D&D campaign. So once I've finished season 1, I'll watch the animated show.
That show's brilliant. It's so good.
Yeah.
And it makes you want to be a bard just because the bard is just such a... He's Tywin Lannister on steroids. It's
Scanlan
awesome.
is the highlight of season 1.
Oh, not Tywin. Sorry, Tyrion. My bad. It's been a while since I've seen Game of Thrones, but yeah.
The amount that guy accomplishes without actually rolling attack dice in given scenarios is like he wants anything but to actually attack something. He's
really?
Like he plays his character very, very, very well. Matt's bard for sure. A minstrel.
Yeah, I think I get where she's going. I do tend to sing my way through the day to varying degrees of success.
There you go.
Okay. I have a thing here, which I'll touch upon really quick. It's soccer related. There's 2 soccer related things. Messi's explosion into the MLS has come off as a phenomenally huge win for MLS.
Absolutely. It's huge.
He's got 3 goals in like 70 minutes of soccer.
Yep.
He scored the game winner in the first game.
That free kick was nice. That was a nice free kick.
Last minute of the game.
Yeah.
And then he got 2 goals and an assist, I believe, in the second game. So that's not actually what I want to talk about. Mike, if you already know the answer to this, I want Matt to guess.
I will not. Okay.
Mbappe.
Mm-hmm. I probably know.
Which is the next Ronaldo, Messi, human highlight reel.
Awesome.
Great player.
Yep.
Like he's going to take the mantle once Ronaldo and Messi retire as the best soccer player on the planet. And he's 23, I believe.
Yeah.
He's got 1 year left at PSG, and then he's going somewhere because he's not happy with PSG. Saudi Arabia has offered him 1 contract, which he rejected.
For 1 year.
Well, yeah. So then they offered him the 1 year contract. Matt, what do you think the contract for 1 year would be?
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They got a lot of money, and
They do.
they knowing that they will throw it away on stuff that they want. I mean, okay, throw it away is not necessarily a term I want to
No.
use, because they have been able. They will back up the truck to get
Yeah.
what they want, and
Yes.
they will just start unloading cash.
Mhm.
Yes.
I've seen it with WWE. They got Shawn Michaels out of retirement. They
Oh,
got
wow.
Undertaker out of retirement. They got Goldberg. They got, I mean,
Really?
really the only one they
Yeah, the crown
weren't
jewel,
able to
man. They
get
all
was they wanted Yokozuna real bad,
wasn't
and
he
we
dead?
just kept offering money.
I
It's
thought-
like, he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say 1 year, $100 million.
Can I answer it?
You are way off, Matt.
Way off.
Way off. But
Am
go
I
ahead,
high or
Mike.
low?
Low. It was
Fuck me.
wasn't it 770 euros?
775 million
Euros.
for one
1 year.
season. For one season.
And then they would
700
allow him to go to Real Madrid for free, basically.
Yeah.
And then and he said, but hats off to him. He's like, I won't negotiate with them. Good. I think
That's
fair.
more than the entire MLS roster combined, including Messi's contract.
Including Messi. Yeah, it's insane. And it's like these guys need the money anyway. Like you could offer them $10 billion. They don't need any of it anyway.
Well,
but
he's 23, man. The guy's gonna sign lifetime endorsement deals with Nike.
well, then
or Adidas or
PSG
whatever.
offered him 10
He doesn't-
years at
He
$1
doesn't
billion.
want to. He doesn't want
He
to
doesn't want
stay
to play
in
there.
PSG.
He wants
right?
to go to Real Madrid.
He wants a championship. He wants Champions League. He
Yep.
wants it all, and you're not going to get it at PSG. Messi just left. He's going to leave. Neymar's going to leave in like a year after his contract's up. So PSG is going to be left with none of the. They had the three best strikers on the planet, all playing on the same team, and they're all gone within 3 years of each other.
Okay, so I've the 700
Digested the
million euros
775 million.
That's like
Is-
1.5 billion or something.
is I don't I look up the exchange rate is basically where I'm going here, and my mind's shorted out again. In
Still.
US, 800 just shy of $828 million.
Yeah, it's something, isn't it?
I am fucking flabbergasted. That's, and then yes, in Canadian it's a billion, just shy of $1.01 billion.
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me?
For some guy to run around and kick a ball.
He is
Oh.
the best player out there.
Fair
And-
enough.
Isn't that crazy?
Nobody's
this
worth
guy.
that
This
kind
guy
of money.
wouldn't sell his morals
So you respect him?
for $1.10 billion Canadian.
Yep. I have more
I don't
respect
know
for
if
him by
I'm
not going.
impressed, or I think he's just the dumbest thing walking. But
I
I,
don't
mean, what? It's a
What's his
I can't
annual
even
salary now? Do
fathom.
any of you guys know?
What's that?
It's not that.
His
It's-
annual salary right now? Like,
like
he's probably
90
making
million, I
30,
think.
40 million now,
It's probably it's higher than that, I think.
right?
well.
Something.
I'm
let's
sure
just-
he's not missing meals or worried about next month's mortgage payment.
But
No,
even
I'm
if,
sure
even
it's
if you
not.
just go for 1 year and make almost $1 billion, like,
But maybe he
whatever.
doesn't like the way Saudis do life,
No,
That's
that's
true.
That's exactly
right?
it.
And I
Yeah.
think that's probably a lot to do with it. And I think that's pretty commendable. Like, he's going to get, as they say now, his bag. He's going to get a fucking boatload of money from Real Madrid, right? Or
There's
wherever.
a chance that he re-signs with PSG though.
Maybe,
If
You know?
Real Madrid can't afford him, like, what's he
Yeah.
supposed to do?
right?
Right?
And PSG offered him the $1 billion for 10 years. Okay,
Yep.
well,
It's not good enough.
apparently. But
Yeah.
he probably wants some assurances that they could bring in some quality players too, because he can't have a team to just him in quality football like European football. If it's one good guy and the rest of the team stinks, they're gonna stink. It's just
Yeah.
he can't do everything.
Unless
look
you're
at-
Messi.
Okay, So,
Used to-
according to
And he's not Messi.
according to the internet that I've just found, his current deal on the table is thought to be worth 1.2 million a week. So we're talking 60 some odd million a year. Or I don't. I mean, if that's a year-round thing, it might just be for the season. I don't know.
Okay, so
But,
say
I
60
mean-
million a year. Okay. Yeah. Like what's another 770 on top of that? You're making $1 million a
Okay,
week. Fuck,
so-
who cares?
when I'm reading this, the offer breaks down to 1.65 million per day,
Yeah.
pounds,
Yep.
69,000 per hour, and he makes 20 pounds per second.
Per second. Like he makes what we make in a day.
$20,
fucking,
$20,
yeah.
$20, $20, $20, or 20 pounds, 20 pounds, 20 pounds.
Yeah,
Those are
it's like
fast
1
seconds,
minute he's
but-
making like what we make in a day or a week. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's just disgusting. But you know,
In 2 hours, in 4 hours, he makes more than our combined salaries, annual salary.
and he's not doing anything for 5 months of the
up,
year
man.
either. Because soccer doesn't go all
So
year
fucked
round.
up.
It's crazy. It's fucking stupid.
And he turned it down.
Yeah, but it might be a moral
Now-
thing, and I hope it is. I think that's kind of cool. But if he signs for something even more and stupid in Saudi Arabia with a different team,
Yeah, that's way more than.
So
Yeah, I've read that actually.
you read
He
that?
gets-
It's
It's like
and I'm sure-
$1,000 every time he says "wow" or something. Like it's something.
Yeah, so somebody added up all of Owen Wilson's lines of dialogue and words of dialogue in all of his movies, and he gets paid like $137,000 every time he says "wow."
But
Cool.
his
it is a good wow. I'll give it that. It's a
wow.
wow. He was really good in Wonder. If you haven't seen Wonder, watch Wonder. He's really good.
Oh, he's good in a lot of movies.
He's a really fun dude to watch. He's good in most of his roles. I mean, they're not all great movies, and I don't really see him getting a little gold statue. But it's that.
I did read somewhere that like his actual lines of dialogue are considerably less on average than any other actor. Like he basically doesn't say a lot of words in any of his movies. Like limited not vocabulary. But
Well, he's probably got a
lines.
limited vocabulary.
Oh.
Well, ouch. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm flabbergasted. Like I had a friend of mine's son. He's 25, I believe. Just got a raise in a promotion at work, and I'm shocked that it's like you're a little bit of overtime away from getting paid what I get paid, and I'm just like, good for you. Absolutely, don't get me wrong. Take your money if they're going to offer it to you, or you can get yourself a bump up. Absolutely take it. That goes for anybody. Professional athletes, especially if they're going to slide that contract across the table and you go, you want to pay me this much and do that? Absolutely take it.
But
But
money
I'm
is
just like,
just a different thing
I'm
in
20
Saudi
years older
Arabia.
than you, and it took me a long time to get to this. What the fuck is wrong with my life choices?
He'll get a personal penthouse suite with a yacht, probably all ready to go anywhere he wants. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I did want to.
I've made some poor choices in life.
Oh, we all have, buddy.
Well, that's what happens when you're one of the best soccer players in the world. And here's the thing, he's Cameroon. He was born in Cameroon.
Yeah.
Seeked refuge in France, and a lot of people are like, well, why didn't he play for Cameroon if that's where he was born? And his dad has gone on record to say the soccer system in Cameroon is so corrupt that you basically have to pay for your son to be seen and to be included and chosen. You have to pay coaches to say, pick my kid. Whereas France took him in without money because they saw his skill and said, no, this kid's good. Well, we got this. Right. So it's like the choice of a not wealthy family trying to raise their superstar soccer son. It's like, do I stay in a corrupt government where I will have to pay for the rest of my life for my son to be involved in global soccer for this country, or do I go to France and I don't have to worry about any of that? And he's given the best training, the best conditioning. He's just going to be like led into the promised land, so to speak, right? So don't fault the parent at all for doing that.
They made the right choice.
Made the right choice.
They absolutely did. I mean, that's the better life you want for your kids, right? We see that all the time with I mean, I don't know how your school system is up there, Mike, but down here we get a lot of exchange students from Europe and Asian countries. There was I think 6 or 8 graduated this year with my kid, and another dozen last year with my other kid. And that's what it is. I mean, there's lots of opinions on it, on they're being sent over here without their parents. They're doing years and years of school. I have friends that did the same thing, and not all the opinions are educated, shall we say. And it's you want the better life for your kids.
Well, that's why their
So,
parents
and
are
if you
doing
can
this
do it,
for their
and
kids.
it clearly worked out for this man.
Yeah.
Now,
I'll say.
still, my brain is still reeling from the money numbers. Because
It's
I mean,
so crazy, man.
It's
I make
disgusting.
considerably less than that, and my life is consistently this close to being over. I had a hell of a miss this week that I was literally inches away from a massive problem.
Oh God.
Anyways, we won't get into that
No.
live. Seb, you had some movie trailers for us, buddy. These
Yeah,
have been
I
sitting
wanna-
in the queue since before we went live. I'm
Yeah.
curious as what you got for us.
Me
So
too. You
wanna
this
set
just
this first one up?
This just came on TikTok a couple days, and it was actually released on the 27th. And a lot of the TikTok people are saying this is one of the best horror movies that they've seen in like the last couple of years.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna play it for you guys, and I don't know if you guys have seen it or heard it at all.
Nope,
But here we
never
go.
heard of it.
Okay.
You busy tonight?
You want to turn, eh?
My mum leaves at 9.
So you're 10.
Oh God.
It's from A24 Studios too.
Yeah, they're good shit.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Apparently it was the
Next,
hand of
they
someone
did.
who could connect to the dead.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. Correct?
They did.
I heard it was the
Yeah.
hand of a Satanist. The other hand's just out there.
White people shit, man, I tell you.
All right, let's do this! You know the drill. Say, talk to me.
Talk to me.
Haley, fucking stop it, he's choking! 83 seconds, get it off him! What if we open the door but we didn't shut it?
Delete it. Delete it, come on!
The spirits, they followed us. We have to do something! You want to do it again? They're not gonna stop.
What was it?
What? I don't know!
I let you in. I let you in. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Aussies can make some serious horror movies, man.
yeah, so the comments from the TikTokers, they said it's not like there's some jump scares in it, but it's not like a cheap jump scare movie or
It did-
grotesque.
yeah.
It's deeply disturbing and fear-inducing. Like it's
That's what it looked
it's
like. Yeah,
possession
totally.
film, and everyone was saying like, yes, one of the best horror movies they've seen in recent years. Like so many TikTokers are like, yeah, this is like number one on my list of for this year. Definitely the best horror movie I've seen this year, and then
Nice.
the previous year. Yeah, so Aussie A24 Studios can't miss, man.
They can't go wrong, right?
They're so good. Yeah, so.
Oh, that
Matt,
looks
you
good.
probably won't watch that, I know, but
Nope,
I'm all over
not
it.
happening.
But I love those kind of possession movies where they don't give
And
you the extreme gore, where it's more it leaves your mind to looks like it leaves your mind to wonder and
yeah, it's like a slow, sinister
Like a
build
slow-
to like
like a
something's
slow
gonna
burn.
happen. Something's gonna happen. Yeah.
Well, actual horror, like a
Yeah.
lot
Yes.
of movies in the horror genre, especially through the 80s and 90s, they weren't really scary, they were gory.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not.
And I mean, you
it's
can do
the-
it well. Like Event Horizon is a gory movie, but I think they did it purposefully and well based on what the concept of that movie was. Psychological thriller, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, a psychological thriller is closer to a horror a lot of times for me personally, because they use the lighting, they use the music, they use your own imagination to really build to that. And a lot of times, especially with these slasher things, it's just okay. There's a scary psychopath or whoever, and okay, well, there's guts everywhere, there's brains everywhere, and
It's
not,
fine.
not scary, but at the same time, it's not the same as being scared for 3 to 5 minutes leading up to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this seems to be really doing that quite well. So I'll give this a lot of credit.
And that's
I
what
think-
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think at some point in like the early 2000s, they really kind of split the horror genre. They like, because Saw was born, which is really gory.
Yeah.
So like, there's now like two.
Yeah.
Because in the 80s, 90s, there wasn't really like a differentiating thing, different like gore
Yeah,
or horror. It's just all the same thing, right?
grinding them out. They're just
Yeah,
just
now
hammering
it's like
them out.
there's like gore horror and there's like psychological horror.
Yeah.
It's like they separated those two, I think, a lot in the 2000s. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, but yeah, that's what Hereditary did for me. Was it wasn't really all that gory. There was a couple of scenes of violence, but it was fucking scary. It just scared the shit out of me. Like it just, like I didn't want to turn the lights off, looking up in the corners of the ceilings, and shit's gonna be there, man. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But that looks really cool. I am totally gonna watch that.
Yeah, and it's seems to be a fairly unique concept too. I haven't seen anything like that.
No.
Yeah, it's an embalmed hand that's
It's like the Ouija board kind of concept, right? It's kind of it's a different variation of that, and I think
but like more centralized in power, really, like because it grips you, and then you're like immediately locked with like the spirits from the dead, or so to speak. So yeah, that's on the radar for sure. I want to see that.
Now, did you have a second one for us? Because I thought you said you had a couple.
I do, but let me go find it first.
Okay, so while you find that, you brought this up. There is a movie that is set to come out about Christmas time that I'm really excited for, because I think they've taken it's a sort of a biopic, and I think they took one of the more unique tragic stories and added to it. So we'll just share this real quick. This is more of a report on it.
We're getting a first look at the star-studded cast in A24's upcoming biopic about a famous family with a tragic story. Here's a peek in a totally transformed look. That is Zac Efron right there, Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson from Where the Crawdads Sing, and actor Stanley Simmons. The group is going to play four brothers from the Von Erich wrestling family, known for making a huge impact on the sport and an unfortunate string of tragedies. 5 of the 6 brothers passed away at an early age.
Zac Efron right there.
Film, Iron
Look
Claw,
at
is
that.
expected to hit theaters in December. Got some training
He
for
looks
that
Baywatch
one.
great.
Looking good.
Hey,
Right?
Even Buddy said he's looking good.
Is he playing Carrie Von Erich?
Zach is playing Kevin. Carrie Von Erich is Jeremy Allen White. You'll
that's
know
the
him from
only one
Shameless
that-
and The Bear.
That's the only one I remember, because he was the one that
Yeah.
was like predominantly in the WWE.
Yeah,
Texas
he made
Tornado
it to the
Punch is all I
WWE.
remember.
You know, and Carrie. Did you know that Carrie Von Erich only had one foot when he made it to the WWE?
No? What,
Yeah, lost it
happened
in a
to his other
motorcycle
foot?
accident. What's that?
What happened to his other foot?
Lost it in a motorcycle accident.
So he wrestled with a prosthetic, I assume?
Mm-hmm. And he hit it not as well as he hit it better than he hit his drug problem. The Von Erich story is, if you want to watch Dark Side of the Ring on Crave, there is an episode, I think, on season 3 on the Von Erichs, and it's a heart-wrenching story. With the caliber of actors they have for this could be a late year contender for some awards. I don't think it's going to reach up to the bigger statues. And then we have somebody from our Twitch stream. Dark Side of the Ring is so good, in my opinion. I agree. It's
They have some good episodes of stuff.
they do. Some of it's really hard to watch. And Carly tuning in. Zac Efron is looking okay. Fire. Absolutely. He is absolutely jacked up. And you know, Sarah is right. I posted an image of this on my Facebook a couple days ago, and a bunch of my female friends were making that comment. Sarah was deep in that group. It was the picture of them all sitting on the fence, and an old friend of ours, Jade, commented, "He looks like somebody like it's Lord Farquhar from Shrek is what they came up with. is what Efron looks like."
Nice.
And that just sort of ruined everything for me. But that's what my female friends do, is they just love ruining things for me, and that's okay because I will turn around and get them back later on.
He's
Hey,
never
Carly, how's
looked
it
better
going?
than Baywatch though. Like his physique in Baywatch is just off the charts, man.
Yeah.
Like he
But he's
was.
bulked up for this too, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm really excited to see this. I think, especially with Jeremy Allen White, who is a really underrated actor. You see him, I believe he's in The Bear now, which is supposed to be phenomenal. But you'd know him from.
You watched the
You'll know him from. Sorry, we have something going on in the in the chat here. Apparently, Carly wasn't talking to me. That's fine. But I mean, he spent the entire
You gotta
series of
steal
Shameless in there
compliments
as well.
whenever you can get them, Matt. I get it.
Yeah, pretty much, right? I'll steal them if I have to.
Okay.
And confirmed.
I have another trailer.
Okay.
And I talked about this in our previews to come. And I was really excited and really high on this, and you guys were not.
Okay.
So go ahead.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, I also saw this when I went and saw Mission Impossible last week. So let's see what it is.
The Exorcist?
Nope, not the one.
So
But
this
go
is
ahead.
the new Exorcist. And yes, it does have the mother from the original Exorcist in this.
Cool.
So it's a bit of a long one, but I'll just play it. And yeah, it looks good.
Be home by dinner.
I love you. Good morning, Mr. Fielding.
Morning, Catherine.
And here are your daughters, Angela and Catherine. It's about 7 hours ago, and that's the last information we have.
Catherine!
Angela?
If you can hear this, we love you. Please come home.
Match the call.
Hey, you found her?
True story.
What are you and Catherine doing out there in those woods?
We were just walking and walking. That's all I remember.
Angela, can you tell your dad how long you were gone?
A few hours.
Baby, you've been gone 3 days.
Oh shit.
Oh, the music.
What'd you say?
I didn't say nothing.
Thought I heard you say something.
Hey, baby.
Oh jeez.
You okay?
These movies freak me out, man.
Yeah, I know. Possession movies?
Yeah, they really scare me.
Wherever those girls went, they brought something back with them. The body and the blood of Jesus Christ.
Body in the blood?
Because you know it's the
Body
demon
in the blood?
trying to play with the church, right?
Hell yeah.
Catherine.
So
Body in the blood. The body in the blood. The body and the blood. Catherine. The body and the blood. The body and the blood.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Mommy?
No, but there are people out there who have.
Oh, Regan. That's what his name was.
You have some experience
Cool.
with possession.
Yes, more than I'd like.
I believe you can help get our girls back.
Exorcism is a ritual. Every culture, every religion, they all use different methods. It's going to take all of them.
Don't be scared,
We've met before.
Mother.
What did you do?
Is that Catherine's heartbeat? They're beating in sync.
God played a trick on you.
I'm in. I'm so in.
Yeah, it looks cool, man. I'm totally in.
Best
I mean,
line.
that looks all right.
The best line is like her when she says, "We've met before." I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh."
That's cool. That's good shit.
So yeah, I'm really excited because I was really high on this. And I was like, it could be good. It could be really, really good if they don't try to reinvent it. And I think it's a continuation of the same story, right? The demon coming back, the devil creature, whatever, coming back to haunt the same person, right? So
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, man.
excited for those two.
Yeah, it looks good.
For
Maybe that's,
sure.
maybe that's why I don't sleep very much, because I watch too much of this shit. And
Probably.
man, might be having that realization right now as we talk.
Might be a bit of
Well,
a
you know
problem,
what?
Nick.
It happens. Mike, what about you? You got anything you're looking forward to film wise coming up, or have you seen anything?
Music wise?
Well, I did watch Heat the other day.
So good.
I haven't
So
watched
good.
it probably since I probably saw it in the theater back in the mid '90s. I'm like, oh, I've heard, it's great, and I had no memory of it, so I'm gonna put it on. I watched it. Holy fuck, they don't make movies like that anymore. And like I said, I had no idea how it was gonna end. I couldn't remember, and so it was like a first time watch. And watching Pacino and De Niro together in the few scenes they had together in that movie, just like electric. It's just awesome.
Oh, sitting in the diner.
The diner. Yeah. Oh man, that was even at the end too. When they were talking at the end, it's just like holy crap. It's just.
I have a trivia question for you two.
Shoot.
Okay.
Robert De Niro
mm-hmm.
and Al Pacino
mm-hmm.
have starred in 4 films together.
Mm-hmm.
Heat being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the other 3?
Well, there's a Godfather.
Godfather 2.
Yes, Godfather 2.
Had to been more.
There was an older cop movie that they were like buddy cops, but it was like 2000 something. It came out. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me.
I will get to that in a second, but the last one is very recent. Actually, it's like it was out 4 years ago.
Oh God, were they in a nursing home together?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
I can't think of that one either.
I believe it's a Scorsese film.
Was the
No, it wasn't The Departed.
That was the other. What was that other one that came out that was like?
Was he in? No, they weren't both in Shine the Light.
You know this, guys. You know this. As soon as I say it, you're like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, yeah. I for both of them because I can't. Yeah. I can picture this buddy cop movie they did.
Okay, so the buddy cop movie.
Irishman.
The Irishman, yes.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Sarah.
And then the buddy cop one you're thinking of is Righteous Kill.
That's the one. Yeah.
I never saw that one.
Neither have I.
I forgot that Pacino was in that one. That was pretty good. It was really long. Like it was Scorsese's only straight to Netflix sort of film.
Dude, all of these 4 movies are incredibly long.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Godfather 2 is very long.
Yes.
Irishman, I think, is over 3 hours.
It is.
It is over 3 hours.
Heat isn't a short movie either, I don't think.
No, Heat's 3 hours.
Yeah.
But they don't share in Godfather 2, they don't share the screen together at all because it's De Niro's playing young Vito and Michael is present time. So
they don't in Heat either until like the very end, right?
And they have 2 scenes. They have like the diner scene and then at the end together.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I saw that movie.
But the diners, I don't know, like 90s De Niro and Pacino, they were just on this like other level of like intensity, and De Niro was, playing kind of like villain type roles by then. Cape Fear, blah blah blah, The Fan. Stuff like that. Oh, The Fan. I should watch that again.
I got to be an extra in an Al Pacino movie that was filmed at UBC called 88 Minutes. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
So just seeing him work,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it wasn't anything. He was just running out into like the outside crowd of university students on the phone trying to talk to whoever he was talking to, which is the bad guy in the movie, right? So he's just trying to wade through the crowd as we were supposed to walk around him, but like all I remember is his teeth were really fucking white.
Yeah.
Like really, really white. Just like your teeth are so white.
And one of the things about Heat that I've heard over the years is they did such a good job with the firearms handling that it's actually used to teach proper reload and combat scenarios as well. So they've actually
Rust obviously never took a page out of that.
Oh, ouch. Rust, or you could even say that The Crow never did either. So
no.
Do you know?
But no, it's not even like on set, but like on film, the way they are handling the firearms in the combat situation and the middle of the action reloads and everything is like spot on military training. So these guys turned around and they really, really listened to their technical advisors.
Yep.
And it's something that really set the movie apart. When you think about it, it's not really something you notice,
No.
but when you compare to some other action movies where either they just forget you're supposed to reload
Mhm.
or just handling it in a piss poor fashion, it really stands out once you know. Something I don't think you see until really John Wick does a really well job of that too. I mean, he's a little more fancy, adds a little more flair to it, but I mean,
Well,
Keanu
that-
spent a lot of time
Like
working
the
on
bank,
that.
the bank heist and the subsequent chase through the streets of LA.
Yeah.
Like what I like my biggest memory before I watched it again was the sound of the guns, how loud
Yes.
how loud there was no other sounds besides the guns and
Yes.
them running. And
it echoing through the
Yeah.
towers of downtown LA. Yeah, I was about to say that as well
Just
because
the
they
sound
did
of
a
this-
really good job of that.
Oh man, just even
Such
just to
a good movie.
rewatch that, and now I forgot Natalie Portman was the
Yep.
daughter, was Pacino's wife's daughter in this, and the cast was crazy. All these, hey, I know that guy, I know that lady.
And Val Kilmer was awesome in it.
Val Kilmer was great.
I mean, he did I know his career sort of took a downturn here, there, and yon, but that was one of those ones where he sort of came up for air and went, "Yeah, that's right." And he had just done Tombstone a couple years before that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he was on quite the roll. He like Tombstone, The Doors, Batman,
Top Gun.
Well, Top Gun was a little earlier than that, but I'm
Yeah.
talking sort of the
Secret.
Top Secret was his first.
Yeah.
Well, The Saint was really good. Like, he turned down.
I always remember the one scene I always remember from that movie is the Pinto scene. The two Pinto cars where they're like, there's one and then the other one just kind of comes like, they both explode because the classic thing about the Pinto is the
You rear end
car-
them and they blow up. Yeah.
Basically that was the joke, right? So.
Yep.
So
other than that,
Speaking of Val Kilmer,
yes,
pardon me. Have you seen his documentary
yes, I have. It's very good.
on the one on his life?
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's very good.
really, really good, really heartbreaking.
Poor guy.
And what I really appreciated about Top Gun 2 was how they meshed those two worlds with, sort of how life went for Iceman afterwards. And it fits because Ice was always
right?
Ice was always right there, and Maverick was kind of like a fuck your rules guy.
Yep.
And they did an absolutely great job of dealing with the character of Iceman 30 years later.
Yeah. Incorporating his illness and all that. And
yeah,
it's very good. It was sad too, right?
Yeah, and we watched it as a group, and I think I said this when we were discussing Top Gun months ago, but a buddy of mine had seen it before, and there was, I think, 4 of us sitting on the couch watching it, and he got up and left, and me and Sarah just looked at each other, and we instantly knew something fucking intense was about to happen, and that's when Val walked out. He just stood up and walked away.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he's a big old softy.
Yeah.
Love him to death, but he's definitely and that it's like, oh, this ain't good at all. Something bad's gonna happen, and sure as shit, everybody in the room starts crying.
Yeah. I saw it twice in the theater, and I cried both times. So
yeah. Speaking of in the theater, I managed to get in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, me too.
You said it. Oh, you said it was great.
I loved it.
Yeah, I think it's probably contender for best of the series so far.
I've only seen a couple of them, so I can't really comment on that. But this one, it was very serious. It took itself seriously, and it was no like, oh, I'm just going to scale the side of a building because I got these fun gloves and all that fucking dumb shit.
Well, he did the bike jump over the cliff. Right?
Well, that was awesome. And it's the way it was filmed because it was all he did it. And it's the camera overhead, and you can just see him going like, holy fuck.
And not even that, but his attitude towards it at the time, right? Like, Mission Impossible 1 was cool, but it was a victim of exactly what you're saying. It's like cool gadgets, Bond type stuff, go do it, no hesitation.
Really
Mission Impossible 2 was not good. 3 with Philip Seymour Hoffman really started to establish that no, this franchise has some legs, and and there's like Ghost Protocol in there and a few other ones. The
third one, the one where he like scales the glass building with like little suction cups.
Yeah, I think that's.
And then he like slides down it for real.
It's just like fuck, come on, man. Like it was dumb. But yeah,
And so
that bike jump
Did
was
it
awesome.
6 times.
he shot it 6 times.
That's crazy.
So I mean, and just the whole attitude of the character, because it's things have gone sideways and he needs to get on a train. And so leading up to it, he just gets to a certain point. It's like, you want me to fucking do what?
Yep.
And it's not that James Bond, early in this franchise, like, I'm gonna go do this, and the guy on the other end of the mic is like, no, don't do that, and he does it anyways. This is you want me to do fucking what?
Yeah. Because Simon Pegg's sort of leading him on, like sort of telling him where to go, and the only way to go is like to the top of the mountain kind of thing. And he's like, "Well, there's only one way to get on this train now, buddy. So
yeah,
whether you want to or not, you're doing it."
I could see like the producers going to the insurance agency and going like, "So we need an insurance budget for this movie that we're coming up." They're like, "Okay, yeah, sure," and then they're like, "It's a Tom Cruise movie. Oh, here's the extra pack."
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Tom has the best deal in Hollywood as far as the back end goes, which is why he's still able to get away with this, which is why
he has carte blanche basically. Like, go make whatever movie you want. Here's the money.
Simon Pegg is a gem in these films. Simon Pegg, best cast addition. Ving Rhames back again, which is also like it just good to see him straight through the entire series. But
has he been in every movie?
What's that?
Ving Rhames, has he been in every movie?
I don't think so, but I think he missed 2.
Is he
I'm
and Tom
not sure.
Cruise the only 2 unkillable characters now in that franchise? Because I would have assumed they would have killed Ving Rhames off like
ages ago,
right?
Yeah.
But
well, I mean,
just keeps
there's
coming back.
because they could be wrapping up the series. Like, they haven't said we're going to wrap up the series.
Supposed to be the last one with Tom Cruise.
So I mean, there's definitely points where you're looking at some of these characters going, "Oh, please don't do this. Please don't do this."
Okay,
because you don't know if they're going to write up like to whack them, right? You just don't know.
Yeah, and with that threat of we're probably going to do the last one, I don't believe anything until Tom's gone.
Yeah, right. And then AI Tom will come and do the next ones.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
How do you guys feel? Oh, my cat just knocked something over.
The cat's not impressed with your question.
He does not like where
does
this
not want your
going.
question to be asked, Sebastian.
How do you guys feel about studios breaking up their movies into a part 1 and part 2?
I don't know.
I think it'd be overdone.
It's lazy filmmaking, I think, and you're just trying to stretch out.
Well, if we're talking Dead Reckoning, like the first cut of Dead Reckoning was part 1 was 4 hours, and they had to cut that down to 2.5.
But don't you feel like you cheat your audience out of a movie? Because
no, I think it's a case.
You're stopping halfway in the movie.
Yeah, in a sense,
right? So
absolutely. I think if it's a series-ending movie, just make it one giant movie and be done with it. Satisfy the audience right away, and.
Well, the classic one that comes to mind is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, or even Twilight. I've never seen them, but Twilight did the same thing, right? They had the end of this part 1 and 2, and it's just like, come on.
Come on. The worst offender of all, neither one of you have mentioned, and Seb is probably going to drive to my house and kick me square in the nuts because he knows exactly what I'm going to say.
The
Hobbit.
Yeah.
Oh, The Hobbit. Those are the worst 3 fucking movies ever.
They took one book and stretched it into a 6-hour movie.
6. It was 9. All 3 movies were 3 hours long.
Was it 9?
Technically, technically, they used more than one book for the Hobbit series.
Yeah, they used
because the end of the third one is a different book entirely, right?
That was part of the Silmarillion or something.
Yeah, like the Battle of the Ages or whatever it was called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there was so much just hot garbage and bad CGI stuck in there. Like,
well, they tried to recreate Lord of the Rings and they failed miserably, right?
The source material wasn't there.
No,
it's too. There's not enough going on. I mean,
in the Hobbit's case, yes, more Tolkien is a bad thing.
Sarah is saying that more Tolkien is never a bad thing. Sarah is not as correct as she wants to be.
I think
he's not.
I think you could have done the Hobbit in 2 movies.
Wrong.
You could have done the Hobbit. You could have done the first and second one together.
Yes.
And you would end the first movie with Smaug flying out of the mountain like you did at the end of the second one.
Mhm.
I think you could have done all that in one movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the third movie, which would be the second one, is the entire battle afterwards. So
Yeah. And the third one was just a waste of time. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I struggled to watch them. I didn't watch them in the theater. I watched them much later, like on streaming or whatever.
Yeah.
And it took me weeks to get through, like
Yes.
weeks of trying to watch this shit. And I'm like,
it's
I
slow.
can't do this.
It's slow.
It's
not,
slow.
It's
It's
nothing
boring.
like Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
I didn't like the characters. I didn't like Martin Freeman as Bilbo. I just didn't.
I
do
did
much.
like the two dwarves that had the infatuation with like the.
Okay. Now, here's the thing about the
What's your name?
dwarves too. They all blended together. I couldn't tell them apart.
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
there was the fat one
Well,
that didn't fit in the barrels.
there's no
was-
no sort of they're just there. They look
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
They act different, but they're so on top of each other. There's so many of them, and that's book accurate because that was the party, and that's fine. But they didn't take any of that time in the movie to set them apart other than this is the fat one, this is the one that'll fall asleep all the time, this is the drunk one, this is whatever.
The fat
It's
one's the
just-
only one I remember because he sits in that barrel and then puts his arms out to the side and just like whirlwinds in the barrel with his axes just spinning around. When the Oryx come to fight them,
I think I must have fallen asleep at that point because I don't remember.
Oh, that was so hilarious. He's just like whirling around like a
come on,
Diablo
Sarah.
4 barbarian.
Yeah, right.
I'm not putting that one up.
No, don't.
Sorry, Sarah. One thing Sarah does want me to mention because she is typing away furiously on the show page and
Okay.
direct messaging
Yes,
me is
that's better. Thank you.
classist.
Yes.
Okay, that's classist.
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. The one of the best things she's found to come from the Lord of the Rings movie is a podcast called The Friendship Onion, and that's with
that's funny
Billy
shit.
Boyd and Dominic
Monaghan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I mean, check out that podcast. I've heard a couple episodes, and it's the good banter. Now, Lord of the Rings, based on 3 separate books, is a bit of a different story than
Technically,
what we're
there's
talking
6
about with
books.
The Hobbit.
And they're
There's
large.
a part 1 and a part 2 in every book.
Yeah.
So
And there's a lot of source material to like the
Yeah,
Hobbit
they
was
cut
like what,
out-
300 pages. How do you make 9 hours out of 300 pages?
Dude, they cut out the first they cut out 150 pages of the first book.
Of
Like-
Lord of the Rings? Yeah, they
Yeah,
cut
the
out
whole
all the
barrel-
Tom Bombadil stuff.
Bombadil.
Yeah,
all
the
of it.
Barrow Dens
They
and Tom
trashed
Bomb,
it.
that's not even they're just
And
like
I
this.
think they probably made the right choice having read the book. Wouldn't have worked on film.
So who is Tom Bombadil?
He's like some. I can't remember if he's some sort of magical. I guess he's a magical forest dude. Sings a lot that they run into between the Shire and the Hilltop, I believe.
So a lot of people speculate that he's like the Messiah version in the Tolkien world. So it's like the Jesus
Okay.
Christ of the Tolkien world,
okay.
where he comes in and connects with Frodo at the beginning, but like he doesn't help him at all. It's just like, just checking in with you, homie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
But
mean,
he
I
knows
definitely-
everything, right? So
I definitely see why they cut him out. And Lord of the Rings is one of those ones where they had to cut out a bunch of stuff, and so they could go back and you can get that 4-hour cut of Return of the King, which is a long slog, and that's sort of the opposite end of what we started talking about of splitting the film up. I mean, if you got a story that can move and you can find a suitable point for a break point, like I thought Dead Reckoning found a right point to split it.
Mhm.
But if you're
Yeah.
trying to stretch and you're trying and she's saying that Tom Bombadil is much like Aslan in the Chronicles of Narnia. Yeah, that
okay.
seems accurate to me. Finding that point where you're not stretching past the limit, because in this day and age, digital's a thing. We don't have the limitations of film we need to go through a projector. We don't have the limitations of film we need in a VCR.
Yeah.
And we discussed this a few weeks ago where that marketing limitation, that technology limitation was a big reason that we were seeing movies that tended to top out at maybe 210, 215. Most are sitting about 2 hours or 90 minutes.
They didn't want that second reel.
That's, yeah. I mean, and having dealt with 35 millimeter film and IMAX film. I mean, we talked about Oppenheimer and IMAX being 11 miles long, and that's a
600
big
pounds, that
upgrade.
reel.
That is a big upgrade.
Yeah.
Because that film is heavy. It is thick. It is designed because the IMAX projectors are dangerously abusive if they are not functioning properly or something goes wrong. It
Could
will
you imagine
destroy.
being the tech that like spilled coffee on the film reel?
I have been that tech.
Oh no!
Oh my
done
god.
On the IMAX reel?
Yes.
Oh my god, Matt, that's so bad.
It was like 4 drops.
Yeah, but it fucks everything up, doesn't it?
And the top coating of film for in
Okay,
a
first
movie
of all,
theater.
what the hell were you doing with a coffee cup, like near the reel? Firstly,
Drinking my coffee at my desk, and it was just 3 or 4 drops. But the top chemical coating on the film, either an IMAX or 35 millimeter, is half a coating for a very powerful adhesive. Guess what the other half is? Water. 4 drops. I had to drive back to the theater 2 hours later because there was it was that turnover gap where, you see the 1 o'clock showings, the 3 o'clock showings, there's a big gap, and then they start up again about 6:30 or 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So the 7 o'clock started. I'm at home with my very young children. I had to go back to work, bribe one of the birthday party girls to sit and color with them
Take
while
care
I
of my
fixed
kid
this
for
because it
a
went
hot
through the
minute.
projector and shredded. Basically, it pulled the next layer of film with it through everything, shredded, broke, destroyed it.
That's not good, man.
IMAX was down for 4 showings because you can't just splice it back together because the sound is digitally stored and is based on a frame count.
Oh boy.
So every frame that comes out has to be put back in black.
Oh my
and
god.
you weren't fired?
No,
He was
because I was
promoted.
super valuable and it was just ultra random. And quite frankly, we just played it off like we didn't know what happened. There might be people that worked with me listening to this right now or listening to this download and go, that's how it fucking happened.
I knew something was afoot.
And it's like, but I mean, it's got to be a very specific environment. If it's too humid, it
Yeah.
starts to stick together. If it's
Sure.
too dry, it gets staticky and wants to stick together. So, yeah, I mean, IMAX it is flabbergasting to me that they could find the technology and the materials to refurbish all of these theaters because they would have had to. The platters had to get bigger. They had, and because they got that film is heavy, they had to get thicker. They had to be
Well, the
a
Langley
stronger
one
metal.
is the one you're supposed to go see it in, because I heard that the
That's-
Langley one is a true 70, like the true
Well-
IMAX experience for Oppenheimer. When
Yeah.
are you guys planning to go see it soon at all or no?
I don't have IMAX here. We don't have that technology.
Oh yeah, you live in like
Mike lives in the desert.
I live in the sticks that are all dead
a log
and
hut.
hot.
So a lot of people have ranked Oppenheimer as the second best Nolan movie ever, behind, and I'm gonna get slayed for this, behind Interstellar, which I still have not seen.
Either have I. I haven't seen it either.
That's the Matthew McConaughey one, right?
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I highly recommend that. I watched it.
yeah, I know. I hear it's his best movie.
It
actually.
is, well, Nolan's best work, McConaughey's best work, the entire cast. I mean, even Matt Damon did a really
Yeah.
Matt
next
Damon's
level
awesome.
job. And I'm not shitting on Matt Damon when I say that.
Please don't.
I like Matt Damon. Yeah, thank you. We actually have a buddy that looks just like Matt Damon from.
Cool.
You have to say it right, Matt.
I'm trying
Matt
to think.
Damon.
Team America, the puppet version.
Fuck yeah.
So not Matt Damon himself, but his marionette version from Team
Oh,
America.
okay. Maybe
And
not so
we
good.
greet him by saying it exactly like that. No, I will not say it. So yeah, and it's. I've only seen it once. I only plan on seeing it once because the ending really hit me in the feels as well.
Yeah, don't ruin it.
I'm not going to, but when you boys see it, Mike, it's gonna get all over you in particular.
Oh.
Yeah.
In a good way?
So
Nope.
I'm told, I'm told Oppenheimer used no CGI at all for filming.
They set off
Nolan-
real nukes.
Well,
That sounds like something Nolan would do.
they set off real bombs. They weren't nukes, but there's things you can do to like visually make it look like a nuke, whatever.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
he
there's
wanted the
chemicals and explosives you can use, and then you just use perspective, like, and filming miniatures. Yeah.
Now, aside from the explosion, did this movie need to be in IMAX? Because it's a political dialogue drama, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
a marriage story too. It's a lot of things.
There was a thing about it, and they were trying to film it in. There's a reason why it was supposed to be in IMAX, and it's I think
a bloated ego, and he thinks he's better than everybody else.
And you know what? Honestly,
he has
it's
the
hard to
track record
argue
for some of the
right
best
now,
movies of all time.
It is hard to argue. He makes very good movies.
The only movie that sucked of his, which was so overindulgent and just pretentious, is Tenet.
That was just confusing.
It was convoluted that it didn't even need to be this confusing. But it was literally a director flexing, like, look how complicated I can weave a storyline together. Unnecessarily. Like
Dunkirk was really good too.
Yeah, so Dunkirk. So I think they had,
and that's the opposite end of the scale. That's a very simple story.
There's no dialogue. It's just it's awesome. It just lets the screen speak for itself. I think. Yeah.
Yes.
So the top 4, I can't remember what the 5th one is, but the top 4 movies that this guy put out is Interstellar at number 1, Oppenheimer is number 2, Dunkirk is number 3, and The Dark Knight is number 4 for Nolan movies. And it might have been The Prestige at number 5, just because that is such a good fucking movie.
So good.
Such a good movie.
So good. I mean, I'm a fan of Christopher Nolan, but when filming The Dark Knight, he shot specifically certain scenes for IMAX. The IMAX trailer was the scene where Batman's going between the 2 buildings I think it was Hong Kong he went to.
Okay.
No, Dark Knight wasn't. Dark Knight was that was different. The Dark Knight was, they showed the entire bank robbery scene from the beginning of the movie.
Oh, the opening scene?
From when the clown's picked up on the corner right through to the reveal. That's what they did. And it was the other one that had between the buildings.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a masterful way of introducing the Joker character, that whole bank robbery scene.
Yeah.
Because one at a time, he has it all strategically planned where one person kills the other person that they're with.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, whittles down to just him at the end, right? It's so maniacally, diabolically in sync with the plan, but it's also chaotic as well. But it's all structured and planned out. It's crazy. It's so good.
And it's William Fichtner got in there with just a little bit. I mean, he's one of those actors that keeps popping up. You don't necessarily remember his name.
He's in everything.
Oh, that's the guy from Perfect Storm. That's the guy from and he's just in there. He's in there for, you see his entire role in that IMAX trailer in that bank robbery scene. That's it. That's all they got. You think, oh, well, it's William Fichtner, so he's going to be in here. Maybe he's going to turn into Clayface, or maybe this is their version of whoever.
Dude,
Pick
the
one of the
Asian
D-grade
guy
Batman
that's in
villains.
like every freaking movie of the 80s.
You're talking the dude from Die Hard eating the candy bar right before he gets shot?
Yeah, Al Leong. If you just quickly go into my screen share, this guy.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Bald guy with the long hair. With the
No,
skull.
that's not it.
That's not it, dude.
You are.
I'm on the wrong thing. Hold on.
Oh my god.
There should be a switch tab icon there somewhere.
No, you just gave away what you're going to tell us about next.
Well, I was going to talk about The Crow because Bill Skarsgård is going to be.
Yeah, I see that.
These movies, Jesus.
This guy.
Yeah, man, he's in everything.
Is every 80s, 90s movie, you're like, he's in Die Hard, he's in Big Trouble in Little China, like
Lethal
the token
Weapon.
Asian guy.
He's in
Lethal
Weapon,
Weapon, like, he's just like, we need an Asian guy to play a henchman. Get Al Leong. He'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's a topic we have discussed on a couple of accounts of doing some research and finding guys like William Fichtner and Al Leong that just show up in fucking everything. They may not have great parts, or they may, like, Fichtner's a great actor. Like, when he has a larger role, he really kills it. But then there are guys that's like, well, he's just in everything. And you look at their IMDb credits, like, at this point, Danny Trejo is a household name.
He's the Mexican
But up until
version
about 15 years ago, he was in everything, and it's just, there's that badass Mexican dude that they keep bringing into everything. right?
Yeah,
And
he was in Heat as well. Fuck,
Yes, he
wasn't
was.
in
Danny
Heat? Yeah.
Trejo was.
Yeah, he
Yeah, he
was
was-
real young Trejo.
Huh.
He was awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, not a big
And
part, but he was in it.
Wes Studi, another guy, also in Heat, that keeps popping up. He was one of the
Which
one
one
of the
was he?
cops,
Oh, okay.
one of Pacino's guys. You
Yeah,
would
yeah.
also recognize him from. I mean, he plays like the Native American, the Indian guy, and a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. He was
Yeah.
in Last of the Mohicans as well, and he's another one that pops up all the
Yep.
time.
Yeah, a lot of those guys in those '90s sort of action movies, they're everywhere.
Yeah, and they get
William
they
Forsythe's
get a day's
another one.
work or a week's work,
yeah.
and then they move on to the next project. So they keep rattling off all these projects because they need to eat, right? They got bills to pay, and they're not getting that star money.
No.
So they go from I'm going to be in the Pacino movie, and then I gotta shoot this 2-episode arc of the Disney show, and then I'm going over here. I'm going to be on a couple episodes of Star Trek, and then I'm going back over here, and I'm going to be in Scorsese's thing, and they just work,
Yeah,
right?
they're just working actors.
It's just to give you an idea of like the shows that Al Leong appeared in the 80s and 90s. He was on The Greatest American Hero, Knight Rider, Magnum PI, The Equalizer, Airwolf, T.J. Hooker, Big Trouble in Little China, The A-Team, Simon and Simon, Lethal Weapon, MacGyver, Die Hard, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. He played Genghis Kong in that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was one of his larger roles. That's
Yeah.
We got Hot Shots Part 2, Last Action Hero, Beverly Hills Cop 3, Double Dragon, which was terrible. He was in Escape from L.A. Like
Which
it
was
just
terrible.
goes on and
Yeah.
on. Lethal Weapon 4, Godzilla, like
That's hilarious.
Now,
Scorpion King. Like he's just in
I
everything.
would bet
man.
you if you looked at some of those shows like TJ Hooker, Airwolf, and the A-Team, he's probably got multiple episodes over multiple seasons where he is just because he's not a guy that normally
Probably.
gets the
But they'll reuse him as a different guy in the following season.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
There's one guy that I'm just trying to remember his name for the life of me, and I'm just having the worst time. But he is in
The
everything.
guy that plays Lopan in Big Trouble in Little China.
No. Yeah, but I mean, even the guy that played Q in Star Trek: The Next Generation, huge,
John
huge
Delancey,
list,
yeah.
right? Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
What
while I figure this out.
what was he? What was this guy in? Like, what movies was he in?
I know the one that keeps popping into my head is he was an angel in Supernatural. I think in season 5.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look that up.
Can you
that
give me
episode.
anything else besides a random episode in movies?
No, talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Give me a minute on this one.
So I just want to touch a little bit on Bill Skarsgård playing the Crow in the reboot.
How do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I like it.
Okay.
I think he's proven that he is a great actor
He's got some chops.
with his portrayal of Pennywise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's far enough along where you could reboot the series.
I think so. Why not?
I'm excited for it, man. Like I didn't even know that was coming
No, I had
until like a couple
till you
days
popped
ago.
up you popped up your screen. I'm like, oh, they're rebooting The Crow.
Yeah,
Cool.
with Bill Skarsgård. So like
Yeah.
that's the only big name actor in it, I think, that's attached to it. I don't even know if they've started filming it yet, but that's
Wow.
yeah.
It's going to be
Is
delayed
that
anyway.
cursed
'cause-
though? That movie?
I don't think so. I think that was just
A freak accident.
It was
Yeah.
a freak accident, right? And it was just one of those things where I think Brandon's time was up, and that's just how it had to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunate for him.
Unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
But the reboot of The Crow is going to be. Is there a release date? Because I'm assuming whatever date it's going to be pushed back probably by a year anyway. But
Let me see. I think it's still in pre-production or
Okay.
hasn't filmed.
it's going to be a while. Then once the strike,
Look it up.
once the strike ever ends, then it'll be delayed more. And
oh yeah, that
it's-
actor strike is just.
yeah,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, and we should start wrapping this up. We're about 90 minutes deep here.
Just say one
Ryan
thing
Reynolds
here.
rebooting Alf. Where are you guys lying?
I saw that.
I don't care. Leave it alone. Alf should be left alone.
Thank you. Thank you. So I have
It's
people
not going to be
around me that
good.
are
It's going to
very
be
excited
stupid.
for it.
I think Ryan Reynolds has to be really careful in his career at this moment because I feel like he needs to like just chill, homie. Because
Just back off.
He's trying to reach into too many wells at the moment. He was linked to buying the Ottawa Senators, which he's backed out since then. He's got the Wrexham FC. He's got his gin company. He's got his mobile company. Deadpool 3, which actually apparently stopped filming because of the strike, but whatever. Like he's just reaching for so many different things that like he's busy in a lot of things. I don't think Alf is the right way to go.
No, Alf is it's. I don't know. I don't think that's it's. Why would you want to reboot Alf? Why?
I didn't think it was that great anyway.
It wasn't that great. And is he going to do it all CGI Alf, or is it going to be a puppet? Because there's
has to be a puppet, man.
Has to be a puppet. You
has
can't
to be a
have...
puppet.
Was he going to be Alf, or was he like going to be the voice of Alf?
I don't know. It could be. It was just something that's
because there was like a commercial for it, right? Or like he did like a little teaser video.
There was something, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the headline. I'm like, oh God, seriously, just enough.
I found it.
Did you?
I found it.
Okay, this has got to be pretty random guy.
Is the guy I'm thinking of?
Okay.
Kurt, you'll give me a second. I'm going to share the screen, and you're going to go, this guy. Kurt.
Kurt Fuller. Yeah, that dude's been in everything.
Right?
Yeah.
And I can't tell you a single thing he's been in, but I know I've seen him in hundreds of movies.
Well,
he's always like
Ghostbusters.
That was my project, or that was my my point. Actor, 211 credits, which is, I mean, I've seen guys with up to 400, and you're like, what? He's been in that much stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, he plays the mayor's like assistant in Ghostbusters 2 that doesn't want to believe the Ghostbusters.
That's right.
So
thank
he's
you.
He's
the one that shuts it down.
Yeah. Real quick, The Crow is scheduled to be released in the first couple months of next year.
Good
so
luck with
2024 is when they're slating for that to be released. Do we want to close with anything that we've been watching recently then, or is there anything else you guys want to touch upon? I have a new show I've started watching, and it's guilty pleasure.
All right.
And it's really smutty, but I'm fucking obsessed with it, man.
Where's
so
Debbie
good.
live now?
Huh?
Where's Debbie live now?
Nope.
She left Alice.
It's I can't even remember the name of it. It's called Too Hot to Handle.
Okay.
Oh, it's on Netflix, isn't it?
It's so good.
Oh,
it's
God.
so good. Okay, so imagine putting a group of really attractive, horny, young adults. They're all like smoke shows. They're all athletic bodybuilder bodies. But they can have nothing. They can't do anything to each other. They can't kiss. They can't make out at all. And they're like, there's a prize pool, so every time they break a rule, the money goes down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're in this environment where all they want to do is just like get it together, like get on with it. But they can't because everyone's like, no, you can't because we'll be fine. Then we're losing tens of thousands of dollars. And then there's like her name is Lana. She's like a virtual cone that's in every one of the rooms, and it's like an Alexa. It's like an Alexa that speaks to everybody.
Okay.
And she always thwarts things and challenges the players, right? So it's like, well, it looks like you and you have been going strong as a couple for so long. Let's mix it up and test your values and how you really see each other. We'll put you on different dates with other people on a private area of the island where there's there's free exemption from any of the rules, so you can do whatever you want with this. It's so mindlessly hilarious because the vanity of these people is mind-boggling, but it's so fun to watch, man. I'm telling you. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a mindless show that you just put on and you're just like, oh my God, these people. Makes you feel better about yourself as a human being, actually.
Do either of you watch Black Mirror?
No.
I heard that's really good.
The first, I've only watched a couple episodes. I watched the one about the pig, which turned me right off. Don't. It's
Are
not.
they episodic?
Yeah,
Black
it's a
Mirror
different
episodes?
story every episode. Yeah, it's
Okay.
a completely different cast, different story, different everything. But I did watch the first episode of the newest season, and it's got oh god, I can't remember. She's on Schitt's Creek. She was the sister. Can't remember her
Okay.
name.
Yep.
But the episode's
Oh,
title
she
is
was great.
She's awesome.
And
She's an
Schitt's
awesome
Creek,
actress.
yeah.
And Salma Hayek's in this episode as well, and it's very pertinent with the actor strike of what's going on. The episode's called
Interesting.
Joan is Awful, and it's awesome. It is freaking awesome. But it has a lot to do with what's going on now with sort of all the AI stuff and studios using actors' likeness for whatever the hell they want. And that's kind of, but I don't want to give too much of it away. But yeah, it's good shit. It was a really good episode. But
You know what? One series that I never watched. I only watched one season of it, and I don't even know why I only ever watched one season of it because the concept of it was so amazing to me. Was American Horror Story.
Oh yes,
I watched a
never
couple
got
of
into it.
I watched a couple of seasons.
Well, I'm fascinated with the fact that every year is a completely new story, and all the actors are basically rouletted to play different characters.
Yeah.
So they play. So one season, oh my God, what's her name? She was in Misery.
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates. So she'll play like the hero in one season, and then she'll play the outright villain in the next season.
Yeah.
So they all take on different roles.
Yeah.
So the only one I watched was the Coven one, the witch one, which was pretty good.
It was good the once, but there was the Asylum, which was really good.
I hear the best one was the first year.
Probably the first year was really good. There was one about Lady Gaga was in one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
I just like the whole concept of like
yeah,
reshuffling your entire cast.
absolutely a different
And
story every season. I think
new
that's
characters.
It keeps it fresh. That's why they all
Yeah.
come back and do it because you're just not regurgitating.
What's my character this season? Let's
Right?
see.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, American Horror Story is good. Like that.
All right, noted.
Not all the
you know
seasons are good. We gave up on a few, but for the most part.
Yeah, I
it's
heard
pretty
it.
good.
Like after like season 4 or 5
Yeah, it
or
was like
6 or
hit and
something, they
miss,
started
yeah.
to be like, eh.
There was one with a circus, like some sort of like carnival kind of thing. It was interesting. It was really good.
They did one which I
Can't remember
think
what
was
it's called.
really poorly received, if I'm not mistaken. It was like the one where there's like a disaster or something, like a world disaster.
Oh god.
Like a cataclysm, basically, like the
Oh.
day the earth stood still type scenario.
Okay.
I think I'm not sure 100% if that was exactly what it was, but I heard that like that was really poorly received. I don't know. Matt, are you watching anything these days?
I'm deep into wrestling at this point. I've spent a lot of time helping set up a new office for my wife and our friend Sarah, getting them set up and running around and just working. I'm just exhausted, so not much. I started Secret Invasion. I am 3 episodes in.
I heard it sucks ass.
And I fell asleep about 10 minutes into the 4th one.
That's not a good sign.
No,
I'm just getting the hell kicked out of me at work.
I heard that's not very good. Like the reviews are bad. It costs a lot of money to make it, and I heard it's boring.
I'm enjoying it, but it's. I think they went the wrong way with this one. The comic book was a much further reaching thing. I think they could have based a phase of Marvel on all of this rather than just a TV series. 6 episodes seems like a waste, but I haven't seen the end of it yet. It may not be just 6 episodes, but the far-reaching aspects of this original story from the canon that they're lifting it from is too big to stick into a TV show. I think you could have done movies for it and linked them all together and then had an end game style major clusterfuck, 5 or 6 years down the road. But it is. I mean, not everything's going to be a hit. Marvel has tons and tons more canon, but I'm sure we'll get into the Marvel universe at some point.
Do you think there's some fatigue going on with MCU stuff? Because there's just so much. It's too much.
So much.
Well, I mean, they have dialed it back, and that's the thing: is if it's hot, you want to make your money.
Sure. I think,
and that's fine. I think
like,
the
for me
problem
personally, I stopped watching after the last Avengers because I didn't give a fuck about any of the new characters. I was all about Robert Downey and Mark Ruffalo and
Well, I mean,
the
you gotta,
OG cast of cool characters. I don't care about any like Ant-Man or any of that crap anymore.
well, you gotta give them a little bit of a chance to sort of reboot, because some of these guys they're getting beat up. Now the thing is, comic books are a visual medium, and artists all have different styles.
Sure.
So to recast a character, and this is my big fucking problem with killing off Iron Man and Captain America while retiring Captain America and just moving. Well, these actors don't want to do it anymore, so we're not going to do it. It's like, well, take a fucking break. It is no different than going from Jim Lee art to John Romita Jr. art. Very different styles, very different, very noticeable textures and features. I mean, they're still gonna have the same. He's got blonde hair, he's got blue eyes, he's got the square jaw, or he's got the mustache and a little goatee, and he's an arrogant fuck. You can easily recast with a different actor, and it's not gonna make that much of a difference. It's no different than recasting Bond
or Batman. Like, there's been how many Batmans has there been, right?
Exactly. Batman is the perfect for that. So
and you can throw in a joke of, hey, you don't look the same as you did 6 months ago, or whatever. Your hair's different, or what's different about you.
And you know what? It could very well be they bring that, back around, because comics.
Yeah.
And I have a very good idea on the out on killing what Tony Stark, the out for killing Tony Stark is to get him back. But we'll have to discuss that another time. We're creeping on an hour and 45 minutes here. We all have extra stuff to do because it is summer. Guys, it was so good seeing you, getting this done. Let's try to get a recording in this week. Do it. We will be back. We got some holiday stuff going on. The summer is still going on, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for everybody that joined us.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
In the live stream chat here, just because I mean we had the opportunity. It wasn't a weird one. It was our normal time slot, so I decided I'm going to hit this button instead of that button, and that's the way it goes.
Right.
Join us as always. Take us with you on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I'll get those uploaded early this afternoon. Get that done, and be on the lookout for the Matt Rife comedy link on our Facebook page as well.
Absolutely.
I will get that done.
Stay classy, guys.
Stay hydrated. It's hot.
Stay hydrated.
Good afternoon.
Peace.